Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Now Kat Von D has a brand new eyeshadow palette out, and this is called the Shade and Light Glimmer palette. Actually, the full name is Shade and Light Glimmer Eye Contour Palette. Now this is completely inspired by the Shade and Light Eye Contour palette, which is all matte, which I think she launched like few years ago, maybe even 2 years ago, and that is actually a very cult favorite product because I've seen that product being featured in end of year favorites like for the past 2 years straight in by a lot of YouTubers. So I never purchased it because I don't really need that many neutral matte shades. Now I do use neutral matte shades, but I always handpick the shades that I really like. So I don't really need a range of shades, and usually Kat Von D does a lot of white shades, which does not apply to my skin tone at all. So I skipped that palette and I never bought it, but this one caught my attention because this is an all shimmer palette and I love shimmers, glitters, and this has the word glimmer, which is not very often used nowadays to describe eyeshadows. So I was really intrigued by the word glimmer. Yeah, I just bought it because the word glimmer, I really wanted to see what it was all about. So this retails for $49, and this is the shades. These are the shades that you get at the back of the box. This is the box that it came in. It has like all glittery kind of font lettering, and then this is vegan. It doesn't say anything about cruelty free, but it has to be because it's Kat Von D. So, but it doesn't mention anywhere. Maybe I'm missing it. I'm not sure, but it doesn't say anywhere that it's cruelty free. But it does say vegan, so I'm not sure. But anyways, this is made in Canada, and you get, how many shades do you get? Now you get like 3 quads. You get 1 neutral quad. Let me quickly show you the actual palette. Now I bought mine at Sephora. I think you can find this both on katvondbeauty.com and at Sephora. And it is open for everyone to purchase right now. I didn't buy it during a pre-sale or anything like that. This is the actual product. It has like embossed lettering here, Shade and Light, and this is not cardboard. This is plastic. And it's pretty heavy actually. It's quite heavy. It's very sturdy. And then it says Kat Von D here, and it just says I. And at the back of the packaging, you have the shade names, but it's arranged in the opposite way. So this shade, this is the actual product. This shade is mentioned here, porcelain. So it's arranged in the opposite way, the shade name. So and what else? It doesn't say even here that it's cruelty free, so but it should be because it's Kat Von D, but it only says vegan. It says vegan here, and then it says 9 months from opening and stuff like that. But and also it has a symbol of an eye, which I think it's eye safe. I'm not sure what that is, but it doesn't say anywhere openly that it's cruelty free. So yeah, this is the shades that you get. So this is, I think, exactly the shades that you get also in the matte Shade and Light Contour palette. I think it's exactly the same, but they've just replaced them for shimmer shades. Now there are 4 finishes total. Now there are 3 quads. This is the warm toned quad, then this is the cool toned quad, and then you have here the neutral quad. Now each quad has 4 shades, as you can see, so hence they are called quads. So each of the shade has a different finish. All of these large pans are actually satin shades, and then this is the glimmer shade, which is why it's the word that you see here. There you have 1 glimmer shade in each quad, and then 1 satin shade in each quad, and then you have 1 pearlized shade. That's what it says, 1 pearlized shade in each quad, and then you have 1 like shimmer shade, like a it doesn't say shimmer, but I'm just calling it shimmer. So this is shimmer. So this is a satin shade, the large pan. Then you have the pearlized, the shimmer, and then the glimmer shade. So this is the order in which it's been arranged in all of the quads. So again, here you have satin, pearlized, shimmer, and then you have glimmer. So that's the way it's been arranged. So as you can see, these are large pans. So I think you get 0.08 ounce of product in the larger pans. And then the pearlized and the excuse me, the pearlized and the shimmer shades carry 0.04 ounce of product. Let me quickly double check, because not all of these equal size pans even carry the same amount of product. The glimmer I think shades are carry more product. Let me see what it says. Yeah, now the pearlized and the shimmer shade carries 0.04 ounce of product, and then the glimmer shade, which is here, here, and here. So these three shades carry 0.05 ounce of product, whereas these two shades, the first two shades, these two, and these two shades carry 0.04 ounce of product. So it's 0.01 ounce product less. And these large size pans, as you can see, is a larger pan, so it carries 0.08 ounce of product. So that's the quantity that you get in each pan. And it does come with a mirror, but I don't want to blind you guys. And it does have like a pattern which like you know, which frames the mirror. It's not like completely rectangular. Usually I feel that Kat Von D's palettes like have like a pattern even with the mirror, and it does say Kat Von D on the mirror. So yeah, let's get into the swatches. That's a detail on the finishes that you get here, and let's get into the swatches, and let me tell you guys how each shade performed and if this palette, if I really like it or not. So yeah, now this is now let's watch the neutral quad first, which is this is the neutral quad. Let's start with this. This is the porcelain shade, which is, this shade is from the larger pan, this pan. So that, as you can see, this is a satin shade, and then you have brown, copper. Yeah, this is called copper, surprisingly, but this is like a very neutral bronze shade. It's not very gold, it's not very, you know, I don't know what's the cool tone version of bronze, maybe taupe, I'm not sure. So this is the pearlized shade. So this is a satin shade and this is a pearlized shade. And then you have oh wait, this is the copper and this is the bronze. Next comes bronze. So this is the bronze, which is glitter. I mean, not glitter, it's like, yeah, it's glitter. I'm going to say it's like a shimmery, glittery shade. And then you have, finally you have the glimmer shade, which is called sterling, which has a reflective glitter. That's what it says. The specialty of a glimmer shade is that it has reflective glitter. This is like a pearlized shade, and this is satin, and this is more of this shade. They don't really describe what the shade is exactly, but these three, they do describe it in the description of the, you know, on Sephora's product page. When I'm reviewing and talking about the formulation, I'll just tell you guys as to how they describe it. And then let's move on to the cool tone quad, which is, which is these four. I just swatched these four, and that is this. And then let's move on to the cool tone quad. This is dusk, which is like a very, as you can see, it's a very kind of, how do I describe it? It has like a very cool toned pink or beige. I'm not sure what this is, but it's very cool toned. And then, but on my skin, it looks like a very, I don't know, off-white kind of a shade. You know, it doesn't matter how it looks in the pan. And then you have cinder. Yeah, it's cinder, which is the shade. It's like, again, cool toned brown, I feel. Very similar to this shade, if you ask me. And then you have a black shade, which is onyx. This black shade has like, I'm sorry about this, something on my arm. This black shade has like white shimmers, glitters in it. I don't know if you can see if I move the palette. It does have like white glitter in it. Silver, I'm sorry, not white. What am I saying? Silver glitter in it. And then finally, so that is the shimmer shade, and then the glimmer shade in this is very similar to the one that you see in the neutral shade. Let me just show it to you. The difference between the glimmer shade in the neutral quad and this cool tone quad is this has gold shimmers, gold reflective glitter, I'm sorry, gold reflective glitter, this one, and this has silver reflective glitter, but they are actually very, very similar. Even on the in the pan and on my skin, they look exactly the same, to be honest. So yeah, that's we are done with the cool tone quad. So this is the cool tone quad. Then let's move on to the warm tone quad, which is this, where you can see a lot of peach and copper. So let me just move on to the next arm, or maybe I can do it in this arm. And this is called Dune. This is the peach shade that you see here. Peach, the large pan, which is the satin shade. And then let's move on to the pearlized shade, which is, it's called Rust, and it is a rust shade. I wouldn't call this a very coppery shade. It has like a reddish, orangish tone to it. So this is definitely a rust shade. And then next you see like a very shimmery shade, which is Jasper. Again, this is like a bronze shade. This shade and this shade and this shade are so similar, guys. The shimmery shade in all three quads are so similar. This. So yeah, it is Jasper. And then finally the glimmer shade in the warm toned quad is called Quartz. And that is like a peachy shade, very, very pale peach. As you can see, this is the one. So yeah, this is the neutral quad, this is the cool tone quad, and this is the warm tone quad. As you can see, the neutral and cool tone look cool toned on me. I don't see a lot of difference. So these two has a lot of white and like silver and like kind of a cool tone bronze kind of a tones, the first 8 shades, and then I can definitely see a tonal difference in the last 4. I hope you can see it too. It's very warm tone. So yeah, these are the shades that you get here. Now they do tell you how to use it. They have like small instructions or how to use kind of a thing on Sephora's product page. It says that these shades, these satin shades, double as highlighters in any part of your body. Now I have to say that this is the most reflective of the 3. These two are very, very satin. Now this is definitely slightly reflective, so you can use this as a highlighter, but let me quickly, like, if I diffuse it, I hope you can see it kind of reflects it slightly, catches the light to an extent, but not very much. But these two are very, very, very subtle. I don't feel that they catch the light at all. Do you see? It doesn't catch the light at all. This is like the neutral shade, and then this is the warm toned satin shade. So the cool toned one is the one which is actually at least catches the light at least to a small extent at least. So I don't feel that these two can be used. The neutral toned satin shade, meaning this and this, the warm tone and the neutral tone are very, very, I don't feel they are very reflective. They are not reflective because they are satin shades, but to use them as like a highlighter on your body, I don't think it catches the light at all. But this guy, the large pan in the cool tone quad, definitely does is slightly reflective to a point. It does catch the light to a very, very small extent. But in an era where there are so many highlighters so reflective, I don't know why people would reach for this. But anyways, they say that these do double as highlighter, all over face and body highlighter. So these can be used on your face as well. And then they say that these satin shades, the large pans, can be used as bases, on top of which you can use these glimmer shades, 1, 2, 3. So these 3 shades, they say that you can use it as glimmer shades. I will, after I tell you guys how the instructions, I mean, as based on what they say as to how to use, I'll tell you guys my experience as to if this works or not. So just wait, give me a few seconds. So let me show it to you guys. It does work actually. I just want to swatch the three-toned satin shades. This is the neutral, cool tone, and warm tone. Now when you, I'm just topping it with the glimmer shade in here, and it does catch the light to an extent. It's actually, it does work as like top coat, but it's not it's not extremely effective as, you know, top coats. It does and now I didn't tell you guys what I'm doing exactly. I just took this glimmer shade from the neutral quad, and then I just applied it on the satin shade of the neutral quad. Now the one I have on my finger is the glimmer shade from the cool toned quad, and I'm just applying it on top of the satin shade of the cool tone quad. So I'm just following their instruction, and then I'm just taking the glimmer shade from the warm tone quad, and I just want to apply it on top of the satin shade of the warm tone quad. So I'm just showing to you guys if what they say actually works, if it's really effective. So yeah, so that's how it looks when you top it. It actually looks good. I'm not saying it actually works. It doesn't look crumbly. It doesn't like kind of fall off. It actually definitely works as top coats. But I did use these as by themselves without any kind of base, and it does work well by themselves as well. You don't need it's not like important that you need a base. They say that this can be used as a base because they do like complement, the glimmer shades complement these large sized pans, so that's why they say that it can be used as, you know, as top coats. But if you use any of these shades by themselves, now let me get to the formulation and the performance before I jump into the you know, everything else. Now formula wise, I just have one sentence, one line to describe it. All of the shades are pigmented, all of them perform well, all of them actually even last well. I had zero issues with any of the shades, guys. Now my eye look here is, I have this black and this shade, I just have it mixed together. That's why it looks very mild in the crease. I mixed both together and just used it in the crease and the outer corner, and in the entire lid I have this rust shade. So that's the look I have going on here. So it's a very simple look, but it works. All of the shades are very pigmented, and the glimmer shades can be worn on by themselves. You definitely need to layer it. You have to layer it at least twice. 2 layers will do the trick, but you have to layer because it is slightly on the sheer side, but it's not crumbly. It doesn't like fall apart. You can definitely they recommend a brush. I don't know what that brush is. Maybe it's, I'm not sure if it's like a, I'm assuming it's like a flat shader brush, but I just used my regular elf brush, like an eyeshadow elf brush from elf, so it worked well. I didn't have any problems with it. And so yeah, now these shades, the shimmer shades, this and this from each quad, they are also very pigmented, guys. They are crazy pigmented, and you don't even need to layer them, these glimmer shades, because they are like, they have large sized glitter, like reflective glitter. They are like, you have to layer them, but the rest of the shades, there's no need to layer them at all. All of them are actually very pigmented. I just didn't encounter any problems with any of the shades, to be honest. So performance wise, quality wise, it's there. My only problem is the shade selection. I know it's supposed to be a very neutral toned palette, and it is, But now the most trending neutral tones are these orangish red, rust shades, you know, reddish copper, reddish brown. So you just don't see any of those in here except for this. And this is just like a tiny glimpse of the trending shades right now, the rust shade. But the rest is a very, very brown, beige, champagne toned, you know, shades that you see here. And as I told you earlier, the neutral and the cool tone, they look just the same. If there was if this neutral tone was missing, or if this cool tone was missing in this palette, I just wouldn't be unhappy. I actually wouldn't even miss it. I probably wouldn't even notice it, I think. So I feel the neutral and the cool tone are very, very similar. Of course, it's been heavily inspired from the matte eyeshadow palette of Shade and Light. So probably she just used the same idea in here. But you know, this is an eyeshadow palette, so this is probably meant for you know, like a makeup artist, which, so that's why they have designed it such that it caters to all skin tones. But for me, I think just this neutral tone is would suffice. And then again, this neutral tone doesn't have all the neutral shades that I personally like. It's very, very, this has a rust and like a bronze, and even this bronze, it's not very, it doesn't have a lot of gold in it. It's very, very subtle. All the shades are very, very subtle and very subdued and very toned down and very, very subtle, as you can see. So I really wish there was some kind of a gold incorporated in the bronze, at least in a warm tone. But no, it's a very subtle, subdued palette. I think if you are someone who loves these shades, I think this would be like a treasure for you, because the quality is really, really good. And they say that these can be and they say that this works well with the matte, the Shade and Light matte eyeshadow contour palette. So I don't have it, so that's why probably I'm not able to appreciate it more. But if you have it, probably you might. So yeah, there are like so many people who listed the Shade and Light eye contour matte eyeshadow palette like 2 years in a row in their end of year favorites. So that definitely is like a cult eyeshadow palette. So probably if you love that, you might like this as well, because the quality is there and it performs well and it also lasts well. I don't feel this turns muddy at all, because in fact I mixed these two shades. I didn't want it to be too black, so I kind of mixed it, and it kind of like gives like a blurred effect. Now you do not have a transition shade here, I have to tell. These satin shades I tried using as a transition shade, but it just didn't work for me. I didn't like the look that it gave. The final look kind of looked like ashy on my skin tone. All of these 3 shades, when I tried to use as a transition shade, they kind of looked ashy on my skin tone. Even this peachy shade looked ashy. So I think the downside is you do not have a transition shade. If you are someone who insists on using a transition shade in your eyeshadow look, you do not have that, definitely. Now you can definitely use these not satin shade, because satin shades are very pale, very light. So I think you can use these pearlized shade, this guy, and this guy, as your, you know, to define. That's why they are actually there, to define your eye look. But still, I feel these 3 don't really define my eye look, because these are very light on my skin tone. I really need something deeper to define. The only shade that I can truly define is with the black, but I mixed it with this shade, because I just wanted to tone it down and kind of look like, give it a very blurred effect, as you can see. So that's why I didn't use just a black. But if you have dark skin, I think the only true color which would truly define is this black. Of course, you can mix and match a black with any of the shades to like lighten it or deepen it or whatever. But yeah, there's no specifically one shade that specifically caters to very deep skin, like to contour and to define your eyelids. So yeah, there's that as well. So pros, guys, the formulation is really good. It's very pigmented, and I really like that it this topping concept. I mean, this eyeshadow topper concept has been like used by many other brands, but this works here as well. But I really feel the color selection could have been better. As you can see, these two look exactly the same, and this one has a very slight peach tone to it. I know that it's like a neutral shade eyeshadow palette, but I don't know, I really feel the shade selection could have been a little better and a little bit more, I don't know, fun. So yeah, this topping definitely works. And as for using these large size pan as highlighter, the center shade, that is a cool toned one, is the one which actually catches light a little bit. These two do not at all. So there's that. But on the eyes, all of the eyeshadows work really well. What else? I think the cons is, personally, I do not like the shades very much, because the cool tone and the neutral look so similar, and there's so much repetition, guys. Do you see this shade and this shade look very similar, and so does this shade. These three look similar, and this white and this off-white, well, I'm not going to say off-white, I mean white with gold glitter and white with silver glitter. How different can they be? And then the only unique shade that stands out is black. So these two quads are like so similar, and I just don't feel that actually it really adds any value to my skin tone. Maybe if you have really pale skin, they might really look different on your skin tone, but on my skin tone, it doesn't add any value. In this palette, these two quads, I feel, do not add a lot of value. Maybe just one of them present would have been okay, but two, they just it's just not adding any value to me. So yeah, that's one downside. And then another downside is you have only one really dark shade. You can definitely mix and match, I understand that, but one true shade that defines in contours for dark skin, eyes for dark skin, that would be just this black. What else do they say? I think everything else is just good as they claim it to be, but my only concern is the shade selection is not very, I don't know, it's very redundant, I feel. And then the contour shade, because this is our shade and light and specifically catered towards contouring your eyes, so they just have one very dark shade, and there are so many light shades. So I don't know, that's just my opinion. So hope you guys found this video useful. I think I covered everything that I wanted to tell you guys. So yeah, hope you guys found this video useful. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked watching it, and please subscribe. Bye.